The second type of business we're going to look at is partnerships. So it's still over here in the private sector, and it's this one here. Now, probably the misleading thing about partnerships, if you think in life, I've got a partner, we're partners, you think two people, 50-50. That is not the case with this. What we're saying with partnerships, the definition is it's a form of business ownership where two or more people, partners, so we call the owners the partners here, own the business and work together with each performing various duties and responsibilities, which is specified in the partnership agreement. You don't need this part of the definition, this partnership agreement, just to explain there will be an agreement somewhere that says who does what and who owns what. But it doesn't have to be equal. Okay, we got 2 to 20 owners called partners, and in fact, in the real world, outside of business management, VCE, like law firms and accounting firms, finance firms, they have thousands of partners. But we're just going to say a partnership is limited to 2 to 20 owners, and they're called partners. The management and risk profile, well, there's kind of two types of partnerships, and it just changes a couple of things later on. But the management and risk is shared between the partners. It's just important to realize it doesn't have to be equal. So even if you do have two partners, it doesn't have to be 50-50. It can be 10%, 90%, 30%, 70%, etc. Now, general partnership is where all partners are equally responsible for management. That means they all work there, they have something to do for the business. Say one partner runs the finances, one does the marketing, one does the IT, one does the legal, etc. That is different to a limited partnership. That is where some partners are passive or silent. You might have heard I'm a silent investor, an expression before. That just means you're a partner in the business, but you don't really work there. You're not involved in managing it. And that kind of changes the legal distinction. Don't get too caught up on that. Just the main thing to note is that the management and financial risk is shared, and it doesn't have to be equal. We don't have to be 50-50 if there's just two of us. If there's three of us, it doesn't have to be a third each, etc. The profit distribution. The profits or the dividends will be shared based on your percentage ownership. So if you own 15%, you get 15% of the profits. If you own 90%, you get 90% of the profits, and so on. Limited liability and unlimited liability. Just a slight distinction here. It's unlimited liability, the bad one, if it's a general partnership. And it's limited liability if it's a limited partnership. But don't get too hung up on that, okay? As long as you can sort of explain what these mean and apply it to these, you're fine. Perpetuity, it does not have perpetuity. If one partner leaves, we have to create a whole new type of business, or a whole new business, which is a little bit of a disadvantage. So looking at our pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages, we have got it pretty simple and inexpensive compared to companies where we don't need a lot of lawyers and accountants. We'll need some, but not to the extent with a company. We can set this up pretty quickly. Now, the better than a sole trader where it's just one owner, with a partnership, we've got a range of skills and abilities of each partner. Each partner has strengths that can benefit the business. And therefore, another advantage is the workload and the risk is shared. There's not as much over-reliance on pressure on just one owner. And a final advantage is there's minimal government regulation. Compared to companies, we don't have to publicly publish a lot of different financial information so that the public can see. We can keep that all in-house. Disadvantages are you got that unlimited liability for a general partnership. Each partner is responsible for debts incurred by other partners. So now that you're operating with other people, if one of your partners is hopeless and runs the business into the ground, well, you're also on the hook for that because you are working together. So you're responsible for their behavior as well. Now, here's the big one. Potential for disputes and clashes. Good way to ruin a friendship is to go into business as partners. So that's another thing. When you're a sole trader, you don't have that. It's just you and only you. Whereas a partnership, there's potential for disputes and clashes. And lastly, no perpetuity. If one partner leaves, a whole new business has to be created, which is time consuming and can be expensive.